No medical facilities, no doctor?
He's a doctor.
He's a what?
And he's got enough equipment and supplies to handle an emergency.
You're a doctor? Medical doctor?
That's right.
Licensed to practice?
In good standing. No malpractice. Clean record. No problems.
I'm fighting the dragon!
This is Film Sack.
Jeez.
Oh, Ed Harris. You and your white ass.
Oh, sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Film Sack. This is Film Sack, mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind. This is episode 692. I'm Scott Johnson, and I'm joined today by Brian Renfair, more like Ren Unfair Dunaway.
Oh, so unfair. Put that mace up. Oh, hi.
Hi.
This week on Film Sack, it is on a still horse that we riders into the night of a bygone era when people still went outside and men were men and men were naked far too often for this viewer's taste. But I digest because this 1981 film is as weird as Ed Harris's ass is white, as it takes us on a journey of action adventure and motorcycle jumps, like some kind of medieval Knievel trying to prove it is no sellout by keeping it real. Now beat it, kid, you bother me. I'll bring a sword to your school later. Smart. Anywho. And meanwhile, in another universe, on a very special episode of BJ and the Bear, BJ and his best friend Bear must deal with the aftermath of an absolutely decimating a mentally ill biker dressed as a knight who veers into their lane and tastes the full power of their red and white Kenworth K100 Aerodyne semi-truck, leading an unlikely duo on a cross-country hunt in a search for answers from a fleeing Black Crow biker who witnessed it all. Trucker beats bike every time. Randy? I'd rather boff boys. Wait, what is boff? I assume it's a medieval jousting term, no?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't heard that term in so long.
You could have just said medieval Knievel, and I would have stood up and applauded, because that is how to sum this movie up in 2 words.
Yeah.
Medieval Knievel.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe no one else thought of it. Dunaway, genius. Genius.
I can't believe I have to delete it from my
I know. That's a shame. That's a shame. Well, anyway, let's get to that.
We don't compare notes.
No,
No,
ever.
we do not.
Hey,
but you can do it again.
Let's throw it over to Randy. My large order of fries has a police issued 38 in it. Jordan.
Aloha, Scott, Brian, I'm so nude. I would usually say sorry for being completely nude here right at the opening, but you know how you like how my naked body looks. I'll give you another look later. For now, I have good news. We're not cops. We're a traveling band of Ren Fair performers who desperately need an HR department and a proper agency booking our gigs and managing our assets because damn, we're bad at self-management. As far as I can see, we make our own armor, make our own weapons, and we make our own romantic drama with every stop out here on the road. Glad to have you aboard. You're going to fit in just right, as long as you follow my 3 road rules. Number 1, you must have blonde, feathery hair and never need to go to the barber. Black feathery hair is okay, but if you're balding, we can't use you. We already have a bald guy. Number 2, as I already said, everyone is having sex with at least one other person in our company, so you need to be horny. Bisexual wouldn't hurt your chances. Number 3, we fight on stage, and we fight in the van, and we fight in the jail. Every town we go to looks exactly like the little town from First Blood, so we probably fight back against the man, too. Fight.
This director made Rambo 2, funny enough. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. I'm totally.
I was going through my brain. I'm like, I don't remember Romero doing that. But okay.
No, I'm an idiot. I was thinking of something
Night of
else.
the Living Rambo.
I don't know where my brain is. We'll find out later after we introduce Brian. You should see the scene with him, the photo lady, and the box of pizza Ibbot.
Oh, you should or shouldn't. usually I just a little inside baseball during the recording of Film Sack. When I start playing the song, usually I will wait and put the lyrics in after the first chorus or as the first chorus hits, just so I don't spoil any surprises and things like that. That's a little inside baseball. You don't, people who listen to the show have no idea I'm doing that. This time I'm actually going to put the lyrics up, and you people who are on Patreon who get the lyrics, I feel like you've got a little bit of an advantage because there's a lot of stuff going on in this song. So I don't want anybody to miss it. So,
perfect for a movie that has a lot of shit going on. So
there's a lot of shit going on in this movie.
A lot of shit.
And I apologize to anyone under 40 who's probably never heard this song before. Sorry, Randy, too. Here we go. I know you're over 40, Randy.
Well, that was way layered, dude. And I love that.
Did you take all week doing that, or when did you start? Jeez Louise.
I did all yesterday, but I did have to do the Garfunkel harmony bits separately. Like I had to listen to each verse the way Garfunkel sung it without Paul Simon's stuff or anything else. So it could be like, all right, if you're not careful, you'll like you basically have to. I had to memorize that thing and then immediately sing it and then record it and then like do.
That's funny you say that because maybe those guys are geniuses, but I never could really quite make sense of what he was saying.
Yeah.
At the same time,
he wasn't saying those words.
No.
Those words.
No, clearly not. But you know what I mean. Like it's like it's a complicated harmony. You know,
it really is, and I can't even imagine how you do that live and not get thrown off by the other person singing because there were so many times that I would start singing the Garfunkel harmony and immediately like switch to this Paul Simon part that I was familiar with. Like, oh, I can't do that. That's not how that goes.
Wow.
So you have to tune it out. And I don't know how you do that live without saying, nope, can we start again? Nope. Can we start again?
Well, that was kind of perfect for the subject matter. We are talking about the film Knightriders, not to be confused with the television show that would also premiere that a little bit later that same year with a space in it. But this is Knightriders with an S and all one word. Ed Harris, bunch of people. Let's let Fake Fletcher explain.
On this week's Film Sack, Knightriders, a medieval reenactment troupe struggles to maintain its family-like dynamic amid pressure from local authorities, interest from talent agents, and their king's delusions of grandeur. Heather F.
I'm sorry, what? What?
Grandeur.
It doesn't know how to end these
now
things.
She's a Southern lady. I'm starting to get the vapors.
From this ran fair. Oh, my.
That's pretty much the description, though. This is one of the weirdest things we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, I have to understand what you thought this movie was when you first heard of it, and did you first hear about it about a week ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you said, here's what we're watching, I went, oh, right. I kind of vaguely remember a fan recommending it. And in my head, I thought this was like Mad Max stuff. I thought it was like post-apocalyptic. We'd reverted to Middle Ages thinking, but we still have motorcycles. And this would play out like Titus a little bit. Remember the Anthony Hopkins movie, Titus, with the weird mix of modern and old. And that's what I thought we were into. The poster looks like that. Like it looks all classically painted, almost Boris Vallejo style. And I thought that's what this was. And you know what? That's not what this is at all. It's not this.
No.
I was aware of this film from previous accidental viewings on TV, but I don't think I ever knew that it was called Knightriders. And I didn't know.
You didn't even know the name.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that it was Romero. I didn't know much about it. I just seen the scenes and thought, well, that's wacky. That's certainly weird. Yeah.
If you look at our Discord history, the first person to recommend it was actually someone who isn't there anymore named Calais CR. But then since then, Icor has recommended it 3 times.
Oh, thank you, Icor. I have some good news about Icor because Icor also called us today. So we're going to play that call later.
Oh, really? Good.
Nice.
About this very film.
A double Icor mention.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, I mean, it's obviously like he was the person that ended up resulting in us.
Gonna take the fame and the shame.
That's right.
For being that person.
That's what happens with Film Sack. There is both shame and fame. Ibit, had you heard of it before, or is this your first?
Never have heard of this thing, and I'm still sure I have. Like, I'm
still not sure I've heard of it.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like when it's over, you're like grasping to try to understand its place in the universe?
Purpose. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are aspects of it that remind me a lot of A Leap of Faith, the Steve Martin thing, where they're a traveling troupe of faith healers, and and he's kind of the king of their group. Steve Martin is kind of the king, and there's a little bit of infighting and things like that, and starting not to believe in him, kind of like they don't believe in Ed Harris in this, and it's just weird. It's just weird to think that there's any sort of correlation between a movie I just love and this.
Yeah, I've never actually seen that. I would like to sometime. Maybe we do it here, because it's not.
It's so good.
It's not really pure comedy, right? It's more like a.
No, yeah, it's Steve Martin not being a at times when he's up on stage being the faith healer, con man, hoax kind of guy. He's being the Steve Martin that we love, the comedic Steve Martin that we love. But then there are other times that he's very subdued and it's a very thoughtful, sweet film.
He's a very sympathetic actor. I mean, really I love his roles. You can really.
Oh, I love his non-wacky roles are some of my favorites. I mean, there's a reason why Planes, Trains, and Automobiles rests on his everyman sort of frustration, and that's not wacky at all.
He has such a tragic look on his face. He just plays it so well. Like,
this has Deborah Winger, Liam Neeson, Lucas Haas, Meatloaf, MC Gainey, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Jesus,
did I mention Meatloaf?
All right, I'm
like the meat that Stephen King was shoving in his face in this one.
Yep,
meat.
That guy ate a hoagie the whole movie, pretty much. Also, he looked like he had a 5 o'clock shadow that was like tattooed.
That was definitely painted on.
Yeah,
that was definitely painted on. It was great.
It had to be, right? There's no way that was real hair on his face.
No, it looked so bad. It just looked
like a hobo from
stage
the 50s.
Hobo makeup. Exactly.
Stage hobo. Yep.
Pretty sure this means that his son, can't think of his name. He also writes. It goes under Joe.
Stephen King's son.
Joe Hill.
Brian.
Joe Hill. Joe Hill.
Oh, Joe. Okay.
He uses it's a pseudonym name. I don't know why he does that. But anyway, this means he'd have been like 2 years old.
Why didn't he do Bachman? He should have done.
He should have been Joe Bachman.
Yeah, that would have been smarter.
That's a great idea. It's funny.
If you're gonna use a
fake name. Use your fake name.
Use your dad's pen name. Exactly.
His books are also excellent. He's very good. But anyway, there's this. So we should probably talk about this just real quick. Stephen King shows up in this thing. The reason he was hanging around set and in there at all, him and Tabitha, his wife, was because they were working on the script for Creep Show. Yeah,
right.
And Creep Show was a Romero deal, right? And King writing it and everything. So there
was all four. Like, was he kind of the overseer of Creep Show, or did he also just have one segment like Stephen King did?
Oh, you know what? Great question. Were they
just had one
separate directors? Maybe. That's a good point. Those anthologies usually are, right? It's never the same guy usually. So
I mean, it's listed as a 1982 film directed by George Romero. So he directed the whole thing, just the 4 different writers, I guess.
Gotcha.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that strikes me like anytime you do like a 4 rooms or any of those sorts of things, it's almost always different directors. But I think that one may just be Romero.
Creep Show is 5 things, right?
Is it 5 things?
Yeah, I mean, I guess is it? They have an
overarching. They got the rapper.
They got the little rapper story, right? The bookend story, right?
Maybe not. I think I'm thinking of Twilight Zone and Cat's Eye. Yeah.
Twilight Zone was one director too, though. That was Landis through the whole thing.
Okay, so I think this one was like fully directed by
and written by Stephen King, and it's just 5 different stories, 5 segments.
Oh, so King wrote all 4, not just 5, not just his.
Yeah, I think he wrote all of them. That's my
Yeah, I think that the Twilight Zone, which was all John Landis, was different writers though, and also they were riffs on.
That's
old.
what I was thinking it.
Yeah,
but he was
Cat's
so
Eye might have been as well, maybe, or another one of those was Twilight Zone. He said there was another one that was like that though. What was the one Tales? No, Tales from the Dark Side. Is that the one that was based on the TV show, but it was 4 different?
Oh, I don't remember that even getting a movie. Did it
Tales from the Crypt Keeper?
No, not the Crypt. Was it the Crypt Keeper? Oh, shit.
No, there was a Tales from the Dark Side movie. Yeah, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Oh, I never saw that.
And it was the same kind of thing. Well, we got to put it on the list here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and it was like this was just 3 stories of horror, and it's framed by a kid who's kidnapped, a paper boy who's kidnapped And there's a suburban witch, Debbie Harry from Blondie, who captures him and is preparing to cook him and eat him.
Oh,
and
my
he tells her
Lord.
the stories to get out of it.
Oh, to distract. Oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I remember
Yes.
this. Okay, yeah.
Well,
But Scott, I got to ask: so you don't have to tell now, but was the Stephen King masticating the thing that grossed you out, or is
Oh,
it?
no,
had to
not
be.
even close.
Really?
Not even close.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
When he's
Really?
sticking his finger in his mouth with the food and it's falling out of his mouth.
No.
That
Oh, it would have been. Trust me, it would have been. But there's
okay,
something way
grossed
worse.
you out, but did not gross you out the
They're
most.
also the laying on your bed naked with another person
Hello.
eating pizza by
Gross.
draping it over your chest.
Randy gets the treat. That is exactly it. Look, this is the problem. This lady's got cheese and pepperoni all over her nipples.
Yeah, which also like pepperonis. You can't tell which are which.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you got that Steve Ballmer looking guy with a dumb hat on.
I love it. He likes exactly what I thought. I thought it was like
Yeah.
Steve Ballmer. I thought
Developers.
Yeah, and they're all just like
Fryer.
sweaty and greasy in there, and what the F? And that tiny little trailer freaking, that is the grossest thing I've seen in years
So
on
not-
Film Sack.
not the doctor playing the harmonica with blood on his hands.
No, that was
pretty
fine.
bad.
That was fine.
Like that was
Pretty rough.
I didn't care about that.
there's a lot of gross in this movie, and I think they're trying to bring some sort of like humor through grossness.
Yeah, definitely.
George Romero was just doing some drugs, and like
I
this
was
is
curious about that.
Oh, he was big
Yeah,
time
Was he
recreational drug
recovering
user.
from his drugs at that point? Because I felt like that was Ed Harris's character. He was trying to fight the dragon, right? So he's
Oh, I don't think there's any of that. I think Romero kept doing as much drugs as he felt like doing. I think that this is just a weird respite between horror movies, because that's all
Okay.
that's all it really is. This is like the least horror movies of all his movies. And right after this, he goes off and does another horror movie, and then does like 5 more horror movies, and pretty much does them for the rest of his career. This is like the only movie in the history of his movies that isn't horror related directly. There are elements like, I think it's a horror show to have that lady's freaking pizza nipples. But
I'm just thinking of the hot grease and let alone, just the pain of all that feels like it hurts watching. So I get it.
Really tough. Like
I do want to. I don't want to just shut down Dunaway's observation that the story has to be about something. You don't
Right.
want to just like watch this whole movie for the acting and the motorcycle jousting. Like it's got to be there has to be a reason that someone writing a film like George Romero wrote this film decides, I'm going to have this main character. He's going to go through this and this and this, and then in the end he's going to check out, and then we find out that people actually they actually liked him enough to sing him their song and so forth. And like I do think that maybe drugs or just like dealing with addiction, dealing with loss. Maybe Romero was making a statement about divorce. I don't know. There must be something.
Yeah, Ed Harris's character Billy, who's the leader here, is the one who's the most into escapism, and he's trying to replace one bad habit or one trauma with this. He's trying to fill a hole, and once that journey has completed, that's when he kisses BJ in the Bears truck in the face. And so
and it could have as easily been a different thing. He could have succeeded, right? And carried on with the people who were loyal to him and so forth. But
everybody's running from something in here. That's what they're saying. I mean, so you would assume that he's the only one they don't really say what he's running from. Everybody else kind of is like, all the rest of them are running from modern life, because modern life is just eating them up, and they're bad people because of it.
Escapism.
Sure. And there are times,
they're better people.
There are times where I really feel that vagabond vibe, and they're just these crusty, screw regular life. This is the life for us. Here we go. We're a traveling troupe. We're like family, kind of. Like there's some of that comes through kind of powerfully in some scenes, but then there are parts where I'm just like, everyone just go home, get out of here. Like, what are you
as
all
much
doing?
as I was entertained by the stunts, the inspiration behind this was, it was going to be a different story. It was originally going to be a real tale of medieval, telling, but then it ended up, he got influenced by these people who are really out there, riding around on bikes and jousting and stuff. And he kind of worked this in. And I think I love the stunts, but for almost 2.5 hours long, I could have done with a lot fewer stunts.
That was the biggest editing thing they could have done. Is there were just so many shots of motorcycles not even interacting with each other, but motorcycles just driving by the camera, and they could have 45 minutes of it probably was that.
Europeans agreed. They had a much shorter version.
Yeah.
And we're also so used to, like Michael Bay movies where he kind of puts 17 establishing shots in a 5-second span.
Yeah.
And like this movie really wants to establish each setting. Desperately. If the setting has changed at all, we're going to get a real good look at every part of it. Yeah. And I mean, this is Romero not having anyone controlling what he's ending up projecting.
Yeah, that includes a claim that this thing was 17 hours, the first cut, which I don't believe.
I believe it.
I don't believe it. I believe that's raw footage and no editing yet. I don't think that counts.
Absolutely.
I don't think that counts.
I believe he filmed every freaking thing. I believe they sat by the fireside
But they all do it. But my point is every film does that. They end up with 20 hours of footage and now you make your movie from everything you've got. That's the whole point of editing. I think this I'm going to give that a little of this. Little scrutiny because that's how films work. Every movie does this. Star Wars had 30 hours of footage and they melted it down to 90 minutes. Like that's how you do movies. You have B-roll, you have, all this extra footage. So that's just a weird trivia note to say. 17 hours. Come on.
There's this old cliche in filmmaking, right? Kill your darlings, kill your babies, which is that an editor has to come along and identify what the filmmaker likes the most and get rid of it. And imagine I actually wrote this down. I was like, this movie is making me wonder what the movie Almost Famous would be like if it was 11 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm trying to exaggerate purposefully. Like, imagine if Almost Famous had these kinds of shots of people getting on a tour bus and people, preparing to perform on stage and so forth. Like, it would actually be 11 hours long. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
No.
Like, this is quite compelling.
Sure.
I found myself entertained many times with the stunts, but I was thinking if I was just watching this because it was on a Saturday afternoon, which is how I watched it in the past, is fun because I can just drop in and see crazy X Games style people launching off ramps and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah,
but it's someone who's trying to complete a movie within a set time frame. I'm like, oh Jesus, come on.
It's cool until it delves into slapstick territory with the whole watch out for that barn, and the guy goes through like 5 Burma shave signs.
Can I play that clip you sent me? You sent me a clip.
Please do. Actually, see if you guys can guess. Are we listening to Knightriders, the Romero film, or Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
It's really hard to tell the difference here. Try to determine. Here you go. I mean, Boss Hogg gonna come out and
that was definitely a thing of his time, right? I mean, I'd mentioned B.J. McKay and his best friend. That was 79. We had seen a lot of Smokey and the Bandit movies by this point, so a lot of that, backwoods.
But you're already mixing motorcycle. You're mixing your Easy Rider with your fantasy world Ren Fair stuff. We don't need to also throw in Yokel.
Sheriff Lobo. Come on.
I like to call these please don't leave scenes. Please don't leave scenes are a filmmaker trying to get your attention because they're worried that they might have lost it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this movie starts with a please don't leave scene. I don't remember opening nudity in a movie that
I'm kidding. Like among the credits, the opening credits, we get nudity.
Bold opening too, because I mean it leads you to believe that you are watching a medieval, a moment, and then it
get on the motorcycle.
Then it flips over and he's on the motorcycle. I mean, if you're just like you used to watch movies, you would catch a movie, you wouldn't know anything about it. You would know no trailer, no nothing. It would just come on and it would start playing. it could sucker you, right? You would sit down and like, oh, what is this? Oh, Ed Harris doing some things. Okay, he's naked, boots. Okay.
And you probably saw the Boris Vallejo poster on your way in to watch this movie, so that's not as much of a surprise.
Right.
But like, I was amazed at how much I had forgotten about motorcycles by the time they got on their motorcycle.
For the record, not actually Boris Vallejo, but I take your point.
We looked it up. It looks very much in that vein, though, right?
Oh,
Randy?
totally. It's like him or Frazzetti or any of those other guys. You know, it looks like
whoever did a great job.
Yeah, it's cool. And this is kind of my main beef is that's the movie I want. I realize I'm a genre simp for this. I love this stuff. So when you say, you know, and the movie starts that way, like you're saying, it feels very medieval. And then when he gets on the bike, I'm like, yeah, dude, we're living post-apocalyptic bullshit. Look at this stuff. This is great. Yeah. And then he just shows up at the Ren Fair, and I'm like, oh, they're just people.
And then it's like, all right, I'm putting on armor made from a yoga mat.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of lame. We had somebody write in and say, did Kiss lose their stage costumes those last when Morgan came back with his little crew of glitter
styrofoam styrofoam.
I was like,
tubes.
oh yeah, Ace Frehley is now has an empty closet.
Yeah, I was specifically Ace Frehley though,
specifically Ace Frehley, specifically the spaceman.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it's just the thing is ridiculous. Once you settle into that though, and you realize what we're getting fed here. There are moments of like, oh, this is an interesting, introspective look at a group of people that probably never existed, but it's interesting. Yeah. But then it would be like, oh man, you guys, George Romero, get somebody in the editing room, cut this down some. Yeah. Like there's no need for 2.5 hours. This thing could have been 90 minutes, easy.
Romero likes to film things with the intention of making social commentary, and I thought he did a somewhat okay job here. I mean, this was filmed in the 80s, so we were definitely still reeling from the 70s and a lot of exploitation and a consumerism that was starting to blossom. And Romero is definitely more like a hippie, right? And where did all the hippies go? And what are they doing now? And how are they surviving? Mm-hmm. And he threw all of that in this film, and I kind of actually found that fascinating.
Yeah. I just think you could have told that story shorter form. That's all.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I enjoyed every moment that Tom Savini, who we know from special effects, I enjoyed every moment. And that dude, he was in good shape. He was in good shape.
Absolutely ripped, dude. Like in an uncomfortable, I don't want to be around you sort of way, but just ripped.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
I mean the codpiece like photo that you shared from when he's getting hired by the Jurassic Park lawyer.
Yeah,
the best.
I want to say, oh, look at that, we can see Tom Savini.
Oh yes, nice.
Yeah, you kind of can. I'm sure that I looked at him. He's in some recent documentary about his work that I kind of want to watch. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he's such a Hollywood legend.
Super
for so many reasons.
legendary guy. Absolutely, but. You just kind of want to ask him about that look a little bit. Ask him about the cod piece and what was this like dressing like this? Because this reminds me of that old Smokey and the Bandit. It wasn't for Smokey and the Bandit, but it was what's his name was it Playgirl or something?
Anyway, this is Playgirl shoot. Burt Reynolds.
Playgirl shoot. This is what that reminded me of. It's just like let it.
It was an interesting scene because Savini kind of turns into he's kind of the one being exploited here. And I also was curious about him being on that couch thing they got there, and it just says Knight Rider. I wonder if they were originally going to call it Knight Rider or something.
Because maybe the show they didn't. There's no trivia about this. There's trivia about how the show and this were weirdly linked in that they came out the same year, but there was no like fight or any of that.
Yeah, there was no fight.
Oh no, here it is right here.
There's no brand confusion there, right?
I found a note. It says the picture debuted. The picture. Sorry, I don't know who wrote this. Some 90-year-old wrote this. In the year preceding the similarly titled, popular yet unrelated television series Knight Rider. Reportedly, the producers of Knightriders in 1981, this one, received a payment so the producers of Knight Space Rider would be able to retain usage and not have to change their TV series title. So there was that, but it wasn't like litigious or there was no
Knight.
Knight.
I need help fixing my brain.
Okay,
I've spent the last 6 minutes trying to think about this poster for this movie because I want to know, why does the entire internet think that Boris Vallejo did this poster?
Because it looks like it.
And how is the internet so bad? If so, like how have we gotten to where the internet is just not a useful thing for us to look at?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I knew the minute I saw it, I went, "Oh, that's very reminiscent of Vallejo and others." But I knew it wasn't him, so I don't know what's wrong with all the other dummies. That's easy to see. It didn't look like a Vallejo to me. And also, you keep saying Vallejo or whatever. Is that how you say it?
Vallejo.
It's probably.
Vallejo?
Have I been saying it wrong my whole life?
No.
I've been doing it wrong.
I don't know. I'm going to call Randy a Vallejo. It sounds like a bad word.
He was born. He was born in Peru. I'm sure that's how he says his name, Boris Vallejo.
Yeah, I'll bet
we should go ask him.
Let's
is he alive? Let's do it.
He's definitely not alive.
No, I thought he was around. He's still around.
Is he alive?
I think
thought
so.
He was dead.
Frank Frazzetti's dead.
I thought so too. Yeah.
All right, here. You know what? Let's go to.
He's married to Julie Bell, isn't he? Still
to the internet. Let's find out.
Alive.
But that's my real question. I'm not gonna argue whether or not like something like I want to understand how the internet can get to a place where we can't use our usual sources anymore to make film sack.
Well, does it say, I guess, where does it, so there's somewhere that says this is a Boris Vallejo?
Vallejo.
Is it? Because if someone's claiming it, someone needs to correct them because they're dumb. But this is how I say his name according to I was hoping this was that guy that we liked, Ibit, we are now pronouncing. We are learning.
Oh yes, I am going to tell you
now with Randy saying that
artist.
Well,
if you look at if you look at the poster on IMDb, if you scroll in, it says Boris and his sign right there. So maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
look at the poster.
Here's how you say it. Here's how you say his name, and then we'll go look at that. Hold on. So here you go. Let's see what this says. Oh, there's always
Boris Vallejo.
Oh, you're right. Vallejo.
That is definitely somebody calling you an asshole.
So those little paints that I have for my all my miniatures are Vallejo paints.
They are Vallejo.
Is that how they're spelled? Yeah.
Vallejo.
Yeah.
Vallejo.
You just reminded me of the trend on TikTok where people have posted a billion how do you say this word videos, and then other people stitch them and say them, right? And there's this like Germanish woman who does that. She's German. I don't know. She must be German because she will say what the person has put on the screen, and then they will say it, and it's different. And then she will say "sakido," which means like that's what I'm saying, like that. You know, yeah, I got it right. And like, so she's like, it's like word sakido, word sakido, and it's like over and over and over, and it's just like, man, these like TikTok is like off in this other world when it comes to language and pronunciation. It's very funny.
Do y'all know this? Just a side note, Boris Vallejo.
Yeah,
he did some Star Wars posters, and I didn't know that. Look at that. That's him.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
I didn't know that. Had no idea.
So is Darth Vader just fighting with himself there?
It does look like the same signature. So this might be
little short ones too.
Those are little weenie lightsabers. They're not great. This might be.
So I'm thinking this is probably a Boris. And I think that I would love because I'm sure he got a lot of requests for making posters, and I'm sure he was like, "You want me to do what now?"
Yeah.
You want me to paint Ed Harris?
Yeah.
On a motorcycle.
Well, first they said, "Call me Vallejo," and then he said what he said. Anyway, the point is, the movie portrays itself as something that it kind of isn't on the surface, right? Like this poster, the opening scenes, some of that thematic stuff, it just makes you go, "Oh, all right." It's an alternate history, almost sci-fi thing.
Is that really what you want this movie to be?
Kinda.
Yeah, no, I'm asking like the is this what George Romero, like looking at the poster, is this what he envisioned his movie?
I see.
This is what his movie looked like to him.
Or did marketing take this? I'm pretty sure somebody in marketing made this request.
But no, I'm with you, Scott. That the movie on the poster is the one I wanted to see.
Yeah, I want that. Could they do? Okay, so Romero obviously passed, and I think his family probably still owns rights to this movie. He wrote it, directed it, and everything. I don't know what the studio could do, but it would be really cool to see that realized in something new. Don't even call it Knightriders. Just give me this story. I would watch the hell out of that shit.
I can just see you like Ed Harris in the stream whipping up your back for penance. I just don't know if you would want to do that.
I mean, see, that stuff's great. Like this weird, his weirdness, his like psychoticness. It's my favorite stuff. Also, Ed Harris is so great at yelling at everybody. He's so good at that.
He really is.
He is so good at going from zero.
Yeah,
he's so good about going from 0 to 100. He's just really good at it.
He did that in like The Abyss a lot. He was always yelling at. What's her name?
You never gave up on anything in your life. Let me open your shirt.
Yep, let me get your shirt open and let's have boobs in this movie. Like he is
this movie definitely.
Yeah,
this movie could really be really good. This movie could meet that poster if it was done like in a heavy metal style. Like the animated film. I would watch.
Hell yeah, make it a whole segment of the next season of Love, Death, and Robots. That's perfect.
Yeah,
put it in. You know,
like you just brought up the act of beating yourself for penitence, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And like this movie's full of stuff like that where you're supposed to just make up some story. You're supposed to just go, oh, like I know why he's doing that, or you're supposed to eventually conclude why he's doing certain things, or why people just say certain things. And like it borders on surrealist drama, but it's really not. This is not a surrealist drama. It's just a drama. This is just a story about people living their lives and trying to get along. And it's like really hard to choke down, you know, while watching the movie, that it's not something more.
Yeah.
It's just real. It's kind of boring.
You're watching, right. You're watching the reaction of Ed Harris just trying to navigate reality. Fat cops busting people for marijuana, beating the shit out of them, but you know he can't deal with reality.
Remember the cop didn't bust him for marijuana. The cop just wanted to control them and get as much out of them as he could, and and a couple of them were being were pushing back on that.
Right. The sheriff was off on a fishing trip. I was like, I didn't need that resolution. But thank you for letting me know, Romero.
There was a little bit of a with Ed Harris's character, a little bit of. Do you remember Robin Williams in Fisher King? How he kind of went back and forth between reality and fantasy. I feel like Ed Harris
very much
sometimes thought he really was the king of a medieval times.
He was the one he was the one escaping the most. He did not let us know anything about his other life at all. He never let us know about his other life.
And you know what? I couldn't think of another movie that's like this, but you just nailed it. That Fisher King is a better version of this idea where the escapism from reality is more of a focus, and I just think this should have done that more. Because anytime anybody talked to Ed Harris, he's just like, "Hey, I'm Billy. What's up, yo?" Yeah, baby. It's like, no, I want you to be a freak. I want you to be like, more of a freak. You're kind of a freak, but be a bigger freak, and really lean into. You think you're the king of a medieval troupe, and it's and this is like deeper than anyone out there knows, and really go into that. Now, maybe they do that now. If Romero did it in the 2000s, like 05 or something, maybe he would have nailed it. But I just think this was early, and I don't know, the budget was clearly rock bottom. And what are you going to do? You know,
I don't know. I think the budget had to be pretty big to run all those bikes, man. Having all those people on set constantly. I don't know.
I don't know. That looked like a lot of extras and about 4 bikes, and then they had they had the side seater things. I mean, I wrote this down, but I would joust in those side seater bikes things.
I would not joust in any of this. It is a horrible idea.
Toilet paper tube jousting poles, right?
Yeah, it's no big deal. You get knocked on your ass, no big deal.
No, you don't get knocked on your ass by one of these and not be very good at it, because Jesus, that would definitely.
You'd want to have some prowess toward the sport, if you want to call it that. But watching these sidecar guys, you got one guy driving, another guy on the side. They have to shift their weight to make tight turns. There's a real sport in that somewhere. That'd be fun to watch anyway. I don't know if I'd want to participate, but I like that. Those are my favorite.
I would definitely be Stephen King on the side going, "It's fake."
Yeah. All the biker ones where they're just on bikes and they keep having close-ups of a mace patting somebody on their chest and stuff. Yeah, that was lame. I didn't like any of that. Yeah, but the two-seaters, that stuff was rad. I liked it.
Yeah, don't you love pretty much every shot in the film, every scene? A guy just walks through juggling balls. Just like
Oh man, all the people doing flips.
Yeah, the
mimes doing flips.
They had a guy with a pink handkerchief that he just kind of kept hovering between his hands all the time. Yeah. He was there.
If you've ever been to a Ren fair or any type of these things, there's constantly people doing that kind of stuff, right? And so I loved it.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I was at home on that stuff.
But by the way, Ed Harris claimed anyway in an interview that he learned how to ride a motorbike from his appearance on an episode or two of Chips, and I found a photo.
I was going to say Chips. That is great.
There he is, right there. That was him on Chips.
Oh, that's great. Look at young Ed Harris.
Oh, it's so funny. His hair went away so fast.
Oh, it was destined to go away very
right
early.
Into the abyss.
Yeah. And he is one of the coolest old wrinkled up ass bald actors in the history of the medium. He's so awesome now. Like I could watch Ed Harris in anything today.
His Westworld stuff just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I don't think anybody, I mean, this was his first like starring role of any kind, this movie. I don't know if anybody saw him and just went, yeah, he's destined for big stuff. Because I think the very next thing I remember him in was The Right Stuff, where he was not Scott Glenn. I did this yesterday with Dunaway.
Was he Alan Shepard?
No, it was the Glenn one. John Glenn?
John Glenn, yes.
Yeah, kind of the John Dunbar.
Papa?
He was he was like the Boy Scouty version. Like everybody else was a little bit rough and tumble military, and he was like all perfect. So whenever I would see Ed Harris after this do something more like The Abyss or something where he's kind of complicated and dark, I'd be like, oh, he's not like John Glenn at all. This is what's going on here. And if I'd have seen this first, I would have never had that expectation for Ed Harris. He could just be a psycho all the time. It would be fine.
I'll tell you who I loved and I couldn't get enough of, and that's Merlin, played by was it Brother Blue?
Yes,
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else, but
no.
He's his whole he would scat occasionally. At first, I actually thought it was because I kind of looked away and I heard some scat talk, and I was like, "Is that Scatman Carruthers?" And I was like, "No, it's not. It's just."
That's what I thought it was too. Yeah.
It's just Brother Blue, which I knew nothing about until this movie.
Again, another thing I wish they would have leaned into more, make him more mysterious and mythic, and telling it his weird raps and scatting is more like hey, it's like the ancient Merlin with his advice for the king, and he knows real magic, and he's not just a doctor Ren fairing on the weekend, like. Just lean into that more, because you're right. That was a strong part of it for sure.
Yeah. I loved his little. Every time they would cut to his face, he'd be like, "No, don't do that. You got to do that."
Just looking at his Wikipedia page, the butterflies are not just for this movie.
Those are permanent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Tattoos and stuff. Yeah.
I thought it would. I assumed it was.
I thought it was for the character, right?
Yeah,
me
I
too.
would have totally assumed that.
Oh yeah, no.
Speaking of IMDb, my IMDb photo of the week.
Oh yeah,
is John Amplis, the guy who played Whiteface. Click on him.
You think that was some work from other?
I bet him and Savini are buddies. That's my thinking.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. Yeah, Creep Show, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. He's worked with Romero and a bunch of stuff. He's still working, out there.
But why would you put a picture on IMDb that doesn't show you at all?
I don't know. Maybe
he's like, this is what I do.
He's born in 49. I think at that age, you just don't give a shit. Like, who cares about the internet? You're John Amplis, and somebody hired you to be a zombie. So I'm an old man zombie.
How many of these have we seen that they're like half of their faces cropped out, or it's them pulling a really crazy
I think some of them just don't care. Like the Friar Tuck guys, his photo's not great either. He's a cop.
My runner-up for photo of the week is a person named Iva Jean Saraceni. It's way down the list, but there's an actor named Ira Jean Saraceni.
Ira Jean.
And Iva Jean Saraceni.
Okay.
Her, I guess her. We got to say her, but I don't know, because the photo is of about a quarter of a person. And you can't know for sure what they look like.
I can't find. Oh, she's on the top. Lower
is it
down.
Ida Jean?
Iva.
Okay. Okay.
Iva Jean
Saraceni.
Oh yeah. What the hell?
I'm going up the stairs now.
We have to find her. I've yet to find her here. I'm still looking.
As we've discussed before, I think a lot of people who have been in movies get no value from IMDb. They just don't. They don't think of it. They don't know about it.
Yeah, the value is for us to know they were in it, and if they don't have a photo or it's a shit one, we don't care. We just want to see their name and see if they matter. But Stephen King's credit is literally Hoagie Man. Hoagie Man!
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm surprised Martin Ferrero's IMDb photo wasn't one of the top ones where he's Carnival Barker in disbelief.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's an amazing.
There's a lot of winners this week, baby.
That's a real good photo, though. Like
It is. It's
I
a great
kind of
photo.
like
Yeah.
if I had a picture of myself looking like that, I'd hang it on my wall.
Yeah.
It's Martin Ferrero witnessing the result of the 2024 election.
Yeah.
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 Love it.
There's some of these guys, there's a ton of, obviously Romero pulled a lot of friends with him because a lot of these people are in the Dawn of the Dead, the Day of the Dead,
and Creep Show.
Show. Yeah. There's a big family effort going here, I think. But Tom Savini's photo, it's freaking badass. Look at him.
He's so badass. Now, John Hester, we had mentioned him earlier. He's your gross moment friar, right? I think nobody surprised me as much seeing him in his normal pool wear is all the rest of them, because he really, when he dressed up as the friar, it was like one look, and then when he was in the pool, I was like, yeah, that guy's a jerk.
Yeah, he's a butthole. He was really he was a big jerk.
He is good, well played.
He died, but outside of that, most of these guys still kicking it. Here's Savini now. There's a picture of him. He looks like he could go bad dates, Indy. He could be that guy.
I do like that. Like, he locked into facial hair early on and just said nothing ever else.
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, that goatee is almost, it's like, what's under there? Bone?
Stitched to his face. Like,
he's just getting more and more badass.
Even Magnum PI gave up the mustache after a little while. This guy is like, nope.
His greatest special effect was that goatee.
Right. I don't wear the goatee. The goatee wears me.
That's right.
I was born with it.
I'm amazed we haven't seen more Tom Savini on Film Sack. This is only our fifth film with him in it, and he's got quite a list for us to consider.
Yeah. Like,
he's been in a lot.
Meaning as just as an actor, right? So, like, From Dusk Till Dawn, it was one of them, obviously, right? Where,
where he's not just doing effects, but he shows it, even cameo wise, just kind of shows up. In them or whatever, but
no, he doesn't have doesn't have the beard on this one, but he's got the mustache, and the soul patch is really the. Like,
oh man, you're right. He broke the rules there, didn't he?
He kind of did,
The rules.
Maybe it's makeup. It's a fake chin. That'd be funny.
It's a prosthetic chin covering.
He didn't get rid of this. Yeah, you're right. He didn't get rid of the soul patch, so did he? Never going to say goodbye to the.
That's how good he is at the effects in the effects world. He put practical effects over the goatee because it's tied to his bone and you can't shave it. That's what's going on there.
Can't.
That's fantastic. He was.
By the way, if you want to make a TV show or a video series or a podcast about making movies, Tom Savini will come on your show. He is in, go to IMDb and search for Self on Tom Savini. As himself, he is in everything making movies.
We should talk
to him. He eats, breathes, and he just loves making movies and talking about movies? True story.
He loves it. He's in that I saw Terrifier 3 not long ago. He has a little guest starring role in that thing.
He shows up to every single con fan event. Like he's there all the time.
Ooh, I'm gonna weird Randy out. He looks like Chris Metzen in this shot. Look at this. I'll put it in our Discord. That looks like Metzen with hair.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah,
that's weird. I don't like it.
Did you guys watch Babylon?
5? Yeah, I loved it. Was he involved in that?
I didn't see any of the Babylons.
Okay.
I've only seen Babylon 1. I never got that far.
Right, yeah.
Did you guys recognize Julie in there?
No.
Julie, the one who was escaping, the one who was basically the 50s girl who's escaping her abusive father, and
her big fat jerk
dropped
dad.
off. Yeah, gets dropped off. Like her story arc is she gets dropped off back home and has to go, Dad's awake.
Exactly. I know. It's like, man, how horrible. It's like, by the way, just dropping you back off at home and mascara all over your face from crying.
Is that Patricia?
She's like one of the first characters that we get to know their backstory, right?
Yeah,
and we start like investing into her character, and she just kind of she just like follows along with the troupe, and then all of a sudden it's just like,
She's
bump, and I'm going back to date the queen.
You're talking about Patricia Tallman or Tallman or however you say her
Patricia
name?
Tallman, correct.
Okay, so this is what threw me with her. She's also Barbara in Night of the Living Dead,
Yes.
but this is the remake,
but not the original.
Yeah,
Barbara,
it's that
right?
1991, which I never saw.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that
Still
existed.
coming to get you, Barbara.
When did they make this? Who made that? Oh, Tom Savini directed it. What the hell?
Yep.
The new one, really?
Yeah,
Well,
from the
new
90s.
1990, but
Newer,
yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
that's crazy. Tony Todd's in that.
Yep. I
Why-
like that one.
get that
you
on-
guys have never seen that one?
I
No.
haven't seen that one.
Get that
Yeah,
on the
I like that
list. Get that on the
I like
list
that one.
for real. I want to see this, not just because of her, but because this is crazy. I didn't know this existed. Is it gorier? I hope, because the first movie's not that gory.
Yeah. I mean, it's just as well. Yeah, the first one's not very gory. It's black and white. I mean,
Well-
it's blood black, but yeah, it's more gory. It's Savini. Of course, it's more special effectsies.
Guys,
Mm-hmm.
put this on. Randy, get this on the list.
Yeah.
Halloween.
All right.
Night of the Living Dead remake, 1990. Tom Savini directed. Tony Todd,
Yeah.
Patricia Tallman.
Tony Todd's amazing in that.
Yeah. Well, he's
Yeah.
amazing. in
Well, he's
everything.
amazing. He's amazing.
Well,
in
yeah, I was
everything.
going to say Tony Todd was amazing in ... Everything fits
Right.
in that blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go to line one and just read off the list.
Speaking of Patricia Tallman in this movie has one of the weakest coming out of the closet scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
Fireside, you're gay. All right, you're gay.
You're gay.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a weird sub story.
Yeah.
She
That-
ends up in the front of a truck driving along, and he's sitting next to her, in the front, and he just like they just make some jokes,
We got
He's
some
like,
jokes.
yeah. Oh, I like what was the word, Scott? Who does he like?
I can't remember.
He likes dude. No, he doesn't like
No,
dudes.
he's. I thought it was a jousting term. He likes to boff boys. Is
Boff boys, there you go.
50s term of endearment.
I do not like the term boff. That sounds horrible. What is boff?
This movie could have had a lot to say about that entire experience, where he could have had some friends that really stuck with him and some that opposed him and so on. But no, we're just going to kind of just throw this out there and go on.
Yeah,
sure.
it definitely felt like 1981, a little bit of like a Porky's thing where all the movies then had to have at least 3 sets of boobs and then one person getting teased because they might be gay. Like that just felt like
Right.
It was interesting though because they didn't really make a big deal about it, but they did portray him in the film, and he did find some, romance. They didn't poke fun at it or anything. So, but
yeah, he was a little stereotyped.
It was interesting.
It was
I
a
thought
little.
it was
He was a little stereotype though, with just the whole like.
well, definitely how we would see it today, but in a movie from 1981, I mean,
yeah, it might have been kind of groundbreaking
still-
then. That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, and it still was more than we were getting in other films that made fun of gay lifestyle and that sort of thing, and
Right.
the coming out experience. So
no one
as
freaked out.
ham-fisted as it was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
As boffing ham-fisted as it was.
Yep. Never boff with a ham fist. That's what I'm saying.
No, no, please don't.
No.
You have to keep remembering. I mean, looks of the movie aside, you have to keep reminding yourself that this was made in like 1980, and like I say, the movie is going to remind you of that based on like hairstyles and outfits, but there's also this other bigger cultural story underneath it all, where like people were really, really like saddened by how the world was turning in the late 70s.
Yeah.
And so like Renaissance fairs they're not just whimsical, they're like an escape from everything. And these people don't know what to do, they just want to do something. They just want to make weapons and joust.
Yeah, they just
right?
want to joust.
Yeah.
They want to tune that
Yeah.
motorcycle. They want to look cool. They want to joust. That's it. And make a little money, a little scratch on the way.
Little
That's it.
scratch. Some want to make more money than others.
Hey,
but Tom Savini,
No.
he strayed a little bit.
Yeah,
But Ed Harris took the hook and pulled the sheet back.
that's right. That's right. Like
Yeah.
a true king.
Grab a bucket.
I have a chick in the bucket this week. It is, for me, it's swastika forehead guy.
Oh, yeah. I love the fact they gave the Nazis a comeuppance.
Yeah, I mean, I like that I always like seeing the Nazis get screwed, no doubt.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like here he is. He's obviously a problem. Okay, off they go. Okay,
How do you know he's a Nazi? Is it the swastika carved into his forehead?
Yeah, I
Is
think that
what
might
gave
be
it away?
the hint. Yeah.
Well, and it's not the only like political reference made in this movie, right? So like we get the N-word spoken by a white guy.
Oh yeah,
and it's whoa,
that's true.
But like he's actually talking about other people calling him that because he is more politically aligned with progressives than they were in the South in his story.
Right.
And so he got beat up. He got beat up by people for being left leaning in the South in 1980. Right.
Sure.
Right.
And so wow, this movie just doesn't pull any punches. Right. That guy just said that word right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Said it right on screen. Did it make you feel uncomfortable?
1980, the left in the South was a little bit weird. It was different. Like you had who was that who was that really old? Here. That really old. Yeah, but how involved in politics were you in 1980? Probably.
I wasn't involved with politics, but there's always an undercurrent of what people are thinking in society, and so I experienced a lot of what people say behind closed doors.
Yeah,
which is their true feelings. So trust me,
I'm just saying
I know what was behind closed doors.
I'm just saying, people, it flip flops every 100 years or so. Like the a-holes that wanted to keep slaves were Southern Democrats for a very, very long time, and then that all switched. It's such a twisted freaking thing we do to ourselves. We're so stupid. We're dumb.
It's a tale as old as time, Scott.
It's so dumb.
As old as time.
So
and you also, by the way, you can get Knightriders on Blu-ray, which Amazon, I'm sorry, which IMDb
Where'd you get your
reminds
copy?
me of.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I watched it on VHS, of course.
Did you really?
It was a two-taper. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
get out of here.
A two-taper.
There is a lot of there's some stuff on YouTube. Shout Factory apparently was the company
you can watch
that put out on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
You can, yeah, but all of the bonus content, or presumably the bonus content, is all available on Shout Factory. So there's like an interview with George Romero, short one about the movie, short interview with Savini. Some background stuff. It's kind of interesting, actually. Found it when I was. Yeah.
So the one on Prime, or is it Prime that we watched it on? I think we did.
Prime is the one we said we were watching.
Yeah. So I watched that on there, and the title says in the title, like in the text, it says Knightriders, and then in parentheses commentary
with
included,
background
or
commentary,
something like that.
And it says in parentheses, no, not that one. The other one.
And so I went to try to make it tell me stuff, do me some commentary, and it never. I couldn't find it. It's not.
No. You have to provide the background commentary yourself.
right. That's what the little parentheses are for.
I
think they just have a tag checked on that they didn't mean to.
Yeah.
So you guys
just basically, please feel free to talk while you watch this movie. And there's your background commentary.
Now's a good time to talk about Shout Factory and what they do for these types of films and how they've kind of kept some of this alive.
Nice transition. Tell us more.
Retro roots. Shout Factory is a great thing for you.
Tell us more, Brian. Tell us more.
Oh, just it's good. Support Shout Factory. You can go to their website. They've got tons of. They're always releasing, Blu-ray content, 4K content of old films that may have escaped some of the other streaming services, or maybe have been butchered, bad transfers. They try to bring all that stuff to some high quality output. And it's a lot of the stuff that I like, because I like practical effects. And that's one of the things that pulls me towards those old, 70s, 80s, 90s movies.
Sure.
And I hate to see that just disappear. And so the Shout Factory is pretty good about it.
That's great.
And they got started like right on the cusp of Web 2.0. They were like early 2000s, and they started doing what they're doing, and then Web 2.0 kind of got a lot of people involved. Like a lot of people suddenly are on the internet going, where can I find this movie? And then they would like pick up on it real fast and go get it, get the rights to it and get it distributed again.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And they have a streaming service too. Is it called is it just Shout Factory? I was subscribed for a while to one. I don't know if they had like was it on Amazon? You could get it through. I forget. Is it Screen Factory? I forget. There's like a
no. I think it's Shout with an exclamation point on it.
Oh, just plain Shout.
Yeah. I think.
Shout. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it here. Yeah. It seems like having it integrated into a service would be the way that you would want that.
Right.
Because you would want it all like happening while you're watching shit.
Yeah. But I prefer the physical stuff. But yeah, they got Shout Factory TV. So still there. Looks like they got channels. Looks like you can get it through Amazon Prime channels, some Vizio stuff, maybe through Tubi, Pluto TV, that kind of stuff.
By the way, speaking of which, this thing was on everything. It was on Tubi. It was on freaking like this movie.
Oh yeah, you could. That's Shout Factory TV, man. They're everywhere. They're embedded in just about any streaming service you can think of.
Yeah, but how do they get? Well, what do they have to do with this movie though? And they have some kind of rights control.
They make sure that it's properly preserved, essentially.
Yeah,
like finding the best copies and
sure. But why do 15 services get to stream it? Does that have something to do with them, or something to do?
I'm sure Shout Factories. That's just their business model of
so they bought the streaming rights to the movie.
Okay, that's
let's just say like a decade ago.
Gotcha.
And that cost them all of $500. And so then they turn around and ask for $20 each from the streaming service.
Right. Yeah. So they're making big money, but they're making money.
I don't want to undersell this thing, but I actually do. Like, it's a perfectly good movie to sit and watch. I think you will enjoy some of the acting, some of the, some of the action. There's some pretty good action in this movie. It is really long and boring. Like so boring.
It's pretty boring.
But maybe you like it.
I think it's a really good snapshot of what Romero was kind of thinking and what these actors and story writers were thinking at the moment of a change in especially America between prior to the 70s to a more commercial corporate America. And so it's kind of like these people trying to get out of that, right? And so I think the content's pretty good and important as a snapshot of what was going on at the time, even though it can be boring.
It made me want to rewatch Cable Guy because of the medieval times scene.
Right.
And I looked it up and I found out Medieval Times isn't even as old as this movie. Medieval Times started in 1984.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Didn't know that. Yeah. Got one of those down at Myrtle Beach. I assume it's still there.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't been in a while.
Oh, I didn't realize they were anywhere outside of California. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, it actually started in Florida.
Oh, no way.
Makes perfect sense.
Kind of does.
Right after this movie.
Sure.
You know what we need to eat. Like Stephen King at a motorcycle fair.
Just bummed there weren't giant turkey legs. I mean, what kind of Ren fair has no?
I enjoyed that in your song. Was that giant turkey leg?
Yeah, it was pretty great. I was hoping somebody would make some reference to that. That's a staple of these events.
It's a staple. It's a requirement. Oh, you're gonna open a Ren fair. Oh, cool. Where are you gonna get where are you gonna source your giant turkey legs?
Yeah.
How I know this movie was edited is because I felt like I watched this movie pretty intently. But even I was like, why is Alan dropping Julie back off at the house? And why is he hugging the queen at the end? I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah. I think we're supposed to believe that Julie's quite young.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like.
And the problem is she doesn't really look like a teenager.
No, she doesn't.
But like, I think we're supposed to. Maybe. I think we're supposed to like clock her at 16 or something.
That's what we used to do, though. All the 16-year-olds in movies were 28. So that's just the way it was.
We knew she was she was young and from the 50s because she wore the scarf in her hair like a ponytail. That was the style of the time.
Was that a style of the time?
Your youth indicator.
the 1980s, was that a thing we did? I don't remember that.
I just looked it up. She was about 23 when she made this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boobs out.
And so like why is she being taken home to her parents? Well, because she's got high school tomorrow. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
And her dad's a big fat slob jerk or whatever she called him.
Yeah. I love that he came to the fair and he just like crashes out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing. They never really got into it, but that crowd, man, they were into it. They were like,
they were. Boy, and when the music, like the rock music fired up accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that Ed Harris was so annoyed with that. It's like, what is this?
Totally.
What is this breaking of the reality?
And roll.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I must fix this. That's when it all went sideways. When the baby, we're all like, oh, the baby's gonna get run over by the motorcycle. No, just the mom. She's dead. It's all good. We have a mascot baby for our fair, so it's gonna be great.
Right. I'm also pretty sure there's gonna be more aftermath of beating the shit out of a police officer, regardless of how corrupt he is, and shoving
Catch me if you can, says Ed Harris as he flies into the front of BJ.
Right,
Bear's
exactly.
Truck.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
but the comparison to Dukes of Hazzard is a really good one. Like this was set in a certain time, and it was out in the country where the only police are these like local sheriffs and sheriff's constables, and they don't go outside of their county. So we have these vagabond performers who they're in conflict with every county's sheriff.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is just leave.
Yeah.
Cross into a different part of Pennsylvania.
Throw his gun into the fryer, kick him into the freezer, and leave. Oh, and you're done.
By the way, how come those bullets didn't explode?
Yeah, you don't throw a gun in a fryer. I'm like, holy Moses.
No, that thing's about to explode. It's not going to.
I do like the woman constantly ringing up all the prices of the food and
you think And you think they're going to pay it, and then Blackfeather just goes, "Here's a token from my belt."
Yeah, here's one of the shiny pieces of my belt.
Yeah, she seemed to be just like, okay. I mean, like, what a dumb.
This is what a squire does.
That whole last bit, that whole stretch there was just like silly. And then they wanted me to be serious because he gets hit by that truck, he's bleeding out. You know. By the way, no. Freaking get cauterized. Have something done for your bleed. Anyway, he gets killed. He's dead. He's now spread all over the thing. The music changes. The tone changes. Very serious. And it's like, you just threw a gun in a fryer. Come on. You can't.
He's vaporized by that truck. Like there is no. There are pieces of motorcycle. There are pieces of motorcycle on the ground. There are no pieces of Billy.
Most realistic thing in the movie. That's what happened. The motorcycle versus truck.
Right. Exactly.
But the empty helmet, like it was like there was too little happening here.
Especially for George Romero, he knows how to make a big bloody mess.
You've got George Romero and Savini working on this thing, and the best you come up with is an empty helmet rolling around.
You know, I will give them some big credit for one scene when he's just finished the joust and he's holding that sword to the chest of the dude he took down.
Yeah.
And the blood is dripping down the thing.
Down the blade.
That looked real, dude. That looked like real blood to me. And I don't say that about any movie made in 1981. They don't look good. Right. It's all strawberry jam. But that looked amazing. Yeah. And I was like,
that looked good.
There's a bunch of real stuff in this movie, too. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they just had somebody cut and bleed.
Yeah, wouldn't be hard.
Like, this movie has real motorcycle jousting. You see it. You see it from multiple angles. They're not pulling punches. This movie was filmed all up and down the Allegheny River, and they put a motorcycle in that freaking river.
Yeah, they did.
They did not pretend to do that.
The stunts are amazing. Watching some of these guys popping wheelies going down the highway, you know, it's like it's some tight stunts.
There was a stunt where one of them they were jousting, and I can't remember how it happened, but he basically flipped off the horse flat on his face into the dirt.
Right.
And it was a really good stunt. One that made you just kind of go, someone check that dude. Is he okay?
Right. Yeah.
There was a few of those.
By the way, I don't know what town they were in, but I don't know how they went to the little house in the prairie schoolhouse that he delivered that sword to. But I'm like, did we have a little house in the prairie schoolhouses in 81?
Yeah.
It was all East Coast, right? Because they went
this was all in the middle of Pennsylvania, and their location scouting was top notch because they really found every town that looked exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Got a real Colorado.
So I initially thought California, but no. And then they're talking about Richmond and.
That's true. I heard him say Bakersfield too. And then there was some trivia that was incorrect somewhere that I read that it was also on the site. They had said this is incorrect, but they said it was filmed somewhere in London. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Yeah. Freaking George Romero had like $4 and a motorcycle in his pocket. And he didn't have anything.
This movie is really easy to dismiss. Just to look at it and go, what? Oh, come on. Knightriders, guys on the motorcycles, but I think it's got value. There's places that has value.
Yeah, it's all right.
Boring as shit.
It's ranked. Rotten Tomatoes has it ranked as like the 3rd or 4th best Romero film, which I think is
I wouldn't doubt it.
Wow.
But guess what? Number one is one we need to do called The Amusement Park. We got to watch that shit.
Ooh,
I've never even heard of that.
1976 or something like that. It's old people go into an amusement park and they start getting.
I'm in.
It's a horror movie and they start getting mistreated to the point of excess, and then it's just somehow like old people fighting back at the amusement
like a real
park.
Amusement park.
Yeah, like a real one. Just like they work today.
So really, the top 3 Romero movies on Rotten Tomatoes, at least 2 of them don't end with the word dead.
Yeah, weird, right? It's very weird. I think the second one is his first movie, which is the dead movie, but between them sandwiched are these things that have nothing to do with them.
I'm going to start putting initials on recommendations. I just put The Amusement Park, 1975, SJ. So now we will always remember.
Whose fault? So
right. So that's hilarious.
Make sure you put leap of faith. BI.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what does this make?
Venues only an hour and 43. No, that one's the crazies. This was only 53 minutes.
I know it's an hour. It's an hour. That's the thing.
53 minutes.
Yeah.
What? So it's like it was like made for TV.
No, it was a movie. It's gory. It's all that. It's just it just went real short. It's like he had the opposite problem as this one.
We can watch this on a bonus.
I guess it's like a short, like a
it comes like a short.
He recorded that. He made that one on weed.
It has to be 90 minutes.
He made that one on weed. He made this one. No, he made this one on weed. He made that one on crack. And that's the difference.
If you just looked at the amusement park on IMDb and didn't know when it was made, based on the actors not having photos in IMDb, you would think this was from the 1910s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
this
weird.
is definitely. Oh, this is a. Oh yeah, look at this.
Wow, I love
we
the
gotta
movie
watch this.
poster. Is that? It's not. Sure seems like it's Mark
There's nobody
Twain.
you know. It is not.
The movie poster
nobody you
feels
know.
like it's supposed to be Mark Twain or.
Yeah. I keep hearing the one to see is Land of the Dead from 2005, late in his
that's
career.
the one.
It's supposed to be like really good.
Yeah.
And
We should watch that
it's
one.
got Dennis Hopper in it, freaking John Leguizamo. It's got people we know. I think we should get that on the list. But Randy, what does this make in terms of Romero films we've done? I know Monkey Shines and this. What else? What else we got?
Oh, do we want directed?
Yeah.
Directed
What movies has George Romero?
George Romero. So this
George
is our
Romero.
fourth.
Yeah. John Romero made Doom. Let's not confuse the two. Anyway. Yeah.
Let's do real world chronological order. We sacked Night of the Living Dead. And then Day of the Dead, 1985, and then Monkey Shines.
And that's it.
Those are our four. Yeah. We have two more movies that he wrote.
Oh.
He wrote but did not direct Creepshow 2. And he wrote but did not direct Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Which I talked about earlier. Really? So he wrote that but didn't direct it. Okay.
And did we see that?
We got to put that on the list. Or no, but you're saying we did see that?
Did we see that?
Yes, we sacked Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
I don't remember that at all.
The whole thing that I talked about at the beginning with Debbie Harry. And
yeah. The way when you described it, I still wasn't ringing a bell, so I just assumed we hadn't seen it.
I could describe one of the segments that probably has the most lasting effect, but it's a guy who meets a woman in an alley after witnessing a weird gargoyle thing. And the gargoyle comes down and gargoyle says, never tell anybody about this and I'll grant your wildest happiness or whatever. And so he says, okay. And then that night he meets this beautiful woman and they hang out, have a relationship. And then, years into their marriage, he says, by the way, I never told you about the night that we met. And she says, what do you mean? He says, well, right before I met you, I saw this gargoyle and it told me never to tell a soul. And she starts turning to the gargoyle and saying, why did you tell me?
Yeah. 2017, baby. That was us.
That's when we did it? I don't remember this.
8 years ago? Wow.
Yep,
okay.
yep.
I don't remember shit about that movie at all.
Do it again next week.
Let's do it again.
I really know nothing about it. I'm looking at the description. I'm seeing the screenshots.
I would have thought that one, because that was the most Twilight Zone-y, well-written story of the three. And I thought, all right, well, that one will carry. Like, you'll remember that one, but no.
Yeah. None of this. Buscemi and Debbie Harry, like you said, Buscemi, Christian Slater. I don't remember anybody.
I need to work with a couple of our listeners on pulling off a stunt. The stunt is I'm going to trick you guys into sacking something a second time, and you're going to have no idea. But figuring out what that is in advance is really, really hard because it's going to trigger memories for you, and then you're going to be you'll be able to just look it up and see that we've already sacked it. So I've got to be really careful what I pick.
Let's get Bommy to take down the quick sack that week.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Oh, that would suck. He could really mess with us right now if he wanted.
Oh,
don't do it, Bombats. Don't do it. All right, let's get to some clips for this film. Unless anyone's got something we've missed. Anyone got anything else you want to mention?
Over my notes.
I looked up the poster for the amusement park because I just thought it was so interesting. And that's an artist named Alexander Walajewski. Walajewski. I don't know if you've ever heard of that artist, but Alexander Walajewski made this surrealist, absolutely bizarre poster, and I'm in love with this thing. I want more like that.
I like that kind of stuff a lot. By the way, just for confirmation, Boris Vallejo and Vallejo and Julie Bell still together, still alive, still rocking it, still making art.
Interesting.
He's 84 years old. I think he's 84. He's a little younger than my mom. Which is weird to say, but
they just take turns posing for each other. Like, how about this? Oh, that's really good. How about this one?
No, you gotta flex. You gotta flex.
Those are my flex noises for the people at home.
Yeah.
Thinking about Boris Vallejo, off the top of your head, do you have a favorite movie poster from
This
him?
one.
Vacation. Well, funny enough, it's Vacation for movie posters because I just
that's such a great
That's
one.
a really good one.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about the cover for Molly Hatchett's.
that's
Molly
for
Hatchet
that's
album.
Frazzetti, isn't it? I think that's Frank
Oh, is that
Frazzetti.
Frazzetti? I think you're right.
Oh.
Now that you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frazzetti. I mean, their work is so.
I know they're very similar. I obviously get them confused,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, Frazzetti.
I'm gonna go-
Frazzetti. Did
Frazetta.
Frazetta? Or sorry, I say Frazzetti. Frazetta did he do movie? I don't know if he even did movie posters. If he did, I can't think of any. But Boris did.
Yeah.
Boris was always doing those.
yeah.
Barbarella was probably the first time I remember seeing a piece of artwork and going, "Oh, who's this guy?" Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
and I was like, "Oh, this guy. Oh, yeah, I know this guy."
I just remember there was a whole book of his work at a bookstore, and my friend would
Barnes
go
and
there
Nobles or
and
something.
just be all bonery about it because it was full of topless ladies in it. It was like his version.
Yeah, muscles and
It was-
boobs.
Yeah.
It was almost acceptable porn if you were of a
Yeah.
certain age.
Yeah, and we didn't
Almost.
have the internet, and it was just like, hey, this lady's half naked.
Hey, how you doing there,
Yeah.
Boris Vallejo? I like your fantasies.
Basically, Boris Vallejo designed dare wear, like
Yeah.
for women. He designed it. He came up with the idea, not the idea, but he came up with certain designs of bikinis that women could wear potentially. And I'll bet you some people have made their designs based on his posters.
Oh my
so.
gosh, I assume this is his concept art because it's not Arnold, but that Frank
Yeah.
Frazzetti thing for Conan.
Yeah.
Holy
Isn't
shit.
that amazing? It's like I want that movie.
That's so cool. Oh, that's awesome. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I see it.
But yeah, that one's a Frazetta, and then this Clint Eastwood movie that I've never heard of called The Gauntlet is also.
Oh, you've never heard the
Frazetta.
Gauntlet? Oh my
No.
gosh, we got to watch the Gauntlet. Oh yeah,
That looks
What's
awesome.
that? I mean, that looks
It's-
fantastic.
but
Looks
it's-
made for film sack.
Yeah.
it is made for film sack, and it has got such a. It is. Oh yeah, we got to watch Gauntlet. Yeah,
That's an awesome poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only starring Clint Eastwood, directed by Clint
By the way,
Right.
Really?
because you
His
think you were
constant,
disappointed
partner,
in the.
Sandra Lock.
Yeah.
You think you were disappointed in the movie that was based on the poster. Wait till you see the Gauntlet. It is
Really?
not this.
Really? I mean, it looks like he's escaping from a crashed bus. What is that?
Perfect. Nailed it. It's a bus. You got it.
Helicopter. Isn't
Oh,
it?
is it a
No, it's a
helicopter?
bus. It's a bus.
It is a
No,
bus.
no.
Oh, there's a
It's
tire
not.
back there. I see a tire. Yeah.
There's a really good scene in it. Yeah. You'll.
Okay, so that's based on a scene in the. It seems like there's something fun
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
there. That seems all right.
Yeah.
Why is Oh, I can't think of her name. She passed away too early. Had
Why is
mold
she
in her
hanging
house.
off of Clint Eastwood?
Well, no, she looks.
Sandra
She
Lock?
looks like the actress, the one that died from the mold.
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy for some reason. Getting
Yeah.
a Brittany Murphy vibe
can
out
see
of it.
that.
I know it's
funny
obviously
how
not her, but
many like you look at Frank Frazetta's movie poster library, and it's more. There's a lot more stuff like what I'm putting in there now, which is Dick Van Dyke Fitzwilly, which is this like almost Mad Magazine-y looking.
yeah,
no
what
no
is that?
muscles and swords and things like that. It is a lot of really goofy. What's New Pussycat? There's a Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, that's more like something you'd see out of Jack Davis or something.
Jack Davis, more Drucker, right?
That's wild, dude. I would
Yeah.
never go. Oh, look, another Frank Frazzetti.
Gauntlet isn't streaming anywhere.
What isn't
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet?
It's not
No.
streaming anywhere.
Well, maybe it's that bad. Might be that bad.
We'll get it. We'll get it. It'll happen.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, and it's one of those movies I had no idea what I was watching. Just came on TV, and like there's a moment in the movie, it's like, what the hell is this? And you kind of you kind of just stop and watch.
Yeah.
It's great.
Drop, stop, and munch.
He loves putting people running in his movie posters. Like
Yeah.
you
yeah.
look at these lists and it's like the Fearless Vampire Killers.
Oh no!
Starring
Maybe it should be more
Charles Manson
fearful.
victim Sharon Tate has like everybody running from a vampire at the bottom of the
My
Wow.
brain wants to take the poster and make it work for the movie Clue for some reason.
Yeah, it would work. It would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would fit right in. I mean, this is so Mad Magazine. This is crazy.
It is. Totally is, yeah.
I didn't know he did this.
No, me neither.
He
thought
did
it-
Meatballs as well.
Boy, did
That's
he
a
do
great
a lot
poster.
of it too.
Oh, might have been Meatball. Meatballs has that might be Jack Davis, actually.
Oh,
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Maybe. I used to love Jack Davis. I mean, I still do, but
yeah.
I did it. I did a
Animal
special
House was
episode.
Jack Davis for sure, right?
I
That whole
think so.
Here is every
did a-
actor in the film, and
Yeah, I think
I
so.
did an episode of our bonus sack for posters, and man, I'd love to have you guys we should all get together and do movie posters.
Oh, the movie posters rule, man. They're so
love
cool.
them.
Like, I wish they were more like they used to be. We do this stuff now where it's like it's some form of orange and
Here's a
black,
face.
and here's a face.
Yeah,
and it's like,
Here's
come
three
on.
faces.
and it's designed to work well if it's rearranged horizontally, because eventually when it goes to a streaming service, that's what they're going to use. So
Yeah,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
it's got to be
Brian,
squishable.
you're a big fan of this movie. That's a Jack Davis right here. Mad.
Oh, I
Mad.
love that movie. That's Jack. Yeah, I've actually got the DVD right here next to me. So yeah.
If
I
you're
keep
listening,
I keep it within an arm's reach always, so I
Yes.
can just grab
if
it.
you're at
I got
home
the-
and
I
you
got
don't
the
know,
Criterion Collection. I haven't watched all the bonus stuff yet, but I can't wait to.
if you don't know who Jack
Oh.
Davis is, if you're listening to this, please look up his work. He's one of the best,
Yeah.
greatest artists of all time. I love his work so much.
We need to do a deep dive on what Cinerama was too. We need to do that one day as well.
Mm.
Like all the
Maybe we-
different Ramas.
Maybe we should do a video version of Film Sack someday, like a roundtable video version.
We could.
where
Why
we're
not?
we're able to show you what we're looking at.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's get us all let's go to
No,
some Vegas
just trust
room.
us. Use your imagination like Ed Harris in Knightriders.
Did we do Kelly's Heroes with the?
No, I don't think so.
Did we not do that? Okay, it's another Jack Davis cover. He did Bad News Bears. Sorry, I'm all into this now. I'm looking at these posters.
Yeah. Like I
I
said,
didn't do.
I, could post
I
wherever
pulled
we
up
love it.
this Animal House one because I thought that might be Jack Davis, but no, that is Meyerowitz, something. Yeah, but it's that very same, like, here is every actor from the film done caricature style doing the thing that they do in the movie.
Yeah, which is a lost art. We need to bring that back.
It really is.
I saw something recently that did that, and I was it's the Saturday Night Live Night One
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
They really brought that back, and I love that poster. So
I'm sorry,
cool.
that is by Jack Davis. I don't know what that signature is on the bottom because that is definitely not Jack Davis's signature, but the credits for the movie poster say Jack Davis.
Oh,
so
weird.
It is, yeah.
Say Jack Davis one more time.
Say it one more. If you
I
say
dare
Jack,
you.
if you say Jack Davis 15 times, he comes out of the mirror and
shows up.
Yeah,
That's 15 and we're up to now.
yeah, we're screwed. Jack Davis.
That's for the pre-show people.
He's gonna shoot colored pencils out of his mouth. All right. Well, now let's get to clips. We got clips.
Yeah.
There are
Okay,
clips.
good.
We have them. They're right here. And I'm gonna start with this one. This is let's see, shaking up the beers.
Julie, you're shaking up the beers.
Oh, you don't want to shake up the beers.
It's going to take 75 more cents. That scene went on for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Give me 75 cents.
He
I'm not
didn't-
giving you 75 cents.
He didn't know how to edit. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And she also turns beers into a 2-syllable word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beers.
Beers.
Here is a slob jerk name.
You're a slob. A fat slob jerk.
Real creative.
Like, what can I add before slob?
Yeah.
That. What can I add after slob? Jerk. Okay, good.
Just
Now we're-
real creative girl. All right.
Zing.
This is the Ed Harris we know. Whoops, it didn't play. Why?
What do you think you're going to do?
I'm gonna say no, that's all. We're not paying. It's wrong to pay this guy off. It's wrong, Morgan!
Jeez.
It's every line in this film from Ed Harris, like 0 to 60, like you said, right
Yeah.
to angry acting.
I mean, I don't know this. I don't know this at all, but I wonder if in person he's at all like this, short-tempered, or if you talk to Ed Harris.
He looks
you
like
hate to
Dudley,
find
but
out.
I think that's just because we've seen it in film. I'm hoping that it's just because we've seen it.
I do
It
too.
is exhausting,
Brian's right. Yeah, Dunaway's right.
Oh.
I do not want to find out. I would like to know.
That'd be exhausting.
Yeah, it would wear you out, man. All right, serious hassles.
We don't need any hassles. We're talking about serious hassles here.
The late 80s, we were still talking about getting hassled by the man.
If you didn't know that he was referring to hippies and where they went to,
Yeah.
this is how you know.
And the cops, are the ones
Don't hassle me, man.
the pigs, or they smell bacon. It's not that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Cop,
Yeah.
the fuzz. Oh my gosh. Cheese it. It's the fuzz. All right.
Cheese it.
Merlin says some stuff.
You say, man, if I didn't believe in magic, I'd still be treating gallbladders, prostates, and stuff like that. See, magic ain't got nothing to do with organs and glands and busted necks. Magic got to do with the soul, man.
That guy.
What is he seeing? Busted necks, prostates.
So he's claiming to have been a healthcare professional in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But has had a turn of heart where he thinks magic is cooler.
Yeah. I've seen enough prostates to last the rest of my life.
If it wasn't a prostate, it was a broken back. And if it wasn't a broken back, it was somebody's glands. It's like, come on, buddy. All right, here's, I like this.
Man.
We have some overhead.
Christ, we've got an overhead.
Christ, we've got some overhead.
Christ.
Reality has set in.
Yell. Oh, yeah, here he is yelling again. So here's some, this is a little loud, so I'm just warning you ahead of time. Here's Ed Harris losing his mind.
Peace and love.
You're his hero.
I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm fighting the dragon.
Okay, gosh. So out of control, man. All right. He found the weak.
I do believe we've found a cache of the elusive sponduix.
I meant weed, not weak. I wrote weak. I meant weed. Yeah, I do believe. I think he's doing like, who's the old time actor?
W.C. Fields.
Yes, W.C. Fields.
Found a piece of cache.
I think that's what he was doing. And then he went on.
The unholy weed.
The unholy weed.
Yeah, but why does he call it spondulix? That's like money. That
Is
means
it?
money.
Let's replay it again. I want to hear it again.
I do believe we've found a cache of the elusive sponduix.
Yeah, what is spondu? I've never heard that before.
Don't know.
Sponduix?
He doesn't say spondulix, but it's something else.
Here it is. I found it. That's crazy. All right. It's called, fractional currency, money or funds. Yeah, what?
Right, spondulix, but he doesn't say that.
Sponduix, maybe.
Spondulix.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's doing. But it's an important time to let you know that
Did
this
a pretty good Brando, though.
Yeah, it was all right. But here's
Oh my God, the 20 minutes of Brando I did not need.
It was long, yeah. Could have edited that down, but still.
I don't even need short versions of Brando. I hate that impression.
You could go through the main characters in this movie and assign them all a psychological condition.
Right, absolutely.
Like they all have
easily.
Like Billy is definitely bipolar. Actually, most of them are bipolar.
Yeah.
Like that's like a shortcut to drama, right?
Yeah.
Make people have high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
There's a serious neurodivergent party happening on this movie, and no one knows what to do with it. By the way, just in case it helps you today through your day, Merriam-Webster's word of the day is
astute.
Astute.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, I like to check. I'd like to
right.
see what it is for the
I think that was the point, that these people could not fit into modern times, but maybe they could fit into,
medieval times.
Olden times. Right.
If they called ahead, they
There
could
were no
get
motorcycles in medieval times. Therefore, there are no motorcycles at medieval times.
You're making me watch Cable Guy. I have to go watch Cable to hear Janine Garofalo deliver that line.
Oh, she's so good in that.
It's
Pepsi, sorry. Diet
She's
Pepsi.
underrated across the board. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
Janine Garofalo deserves so much more credit than she gets.
She does.
All right, take that, Angie.
God damn it, Ange, I do think you're screwed up. You hang around that jerk Morgan, but you don't even wipe the grease off.
Ew.
The grease off.
The grease. You don't even wipe the grease off.
Wipe the grease off.
Gross. Nobody wiped the grease off in this movie. One thing this movie is good at is insults.
You simple-minded pea-brain lump of cowpad.
Lump of cowpad.
Wow.
Jeez.
Was that when the sheriff came back from his fishing trip?
Yeah.
Is that what that was?
Yep.
No, that was after the beating in the jail.
Oh, right. The beating in the jail, which, by the way, just felt like a different movie.
That was awesome. Watching Ed Harris lose his shit behind the the adjoining viewing port.
Yeah, the jail beating viewport. What the hell's that about?
Say what's going to happen to you.
That felt like a different movie. And when what's his name was posing with the girls in his cod piece, felt like a different movie.
Yeah, totally different.
And that was the point, right? This is what it's like at the fair, and this is what it's like outside the fair.
I guess so. It was weird. I didn't like it. We haven't even talked about. I can't believe we didn't bring him up. We haven't talked about Martin Ferrero.
Right,
the
Jurassic Park lawyer.
Jurassic Park toilet lawyer. When you put that GIF in the thing, I didn't know what you were talking about until I saw that.
I know, and I didn't want to spoil it, so I was like, because I was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything, because then once they see him and they know, it's like, oh, it's that guy. That's why Brian put that in there.
Yeah, he's great. He's also the one in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He's like, yeah, I can't take that credit card.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a real nice watch?
He's great.
In Heat? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was just briefly in Heat.
He was briefly in Heat. Okay. He was in Heat for a little while.
Briefly in Heat. Love it.
He got pregnant, and then he wasn't in Heat anymore.
He got ate by a dinosaur.
I sent you guys pictures yesterday, but he he is so, you'd see him on the street and you wouldn't know that's the same guy. I mean, age comes for us all, but
he was
holy
probably
shit.
40 something in the movie. So I mean, now is
he's in his 80s now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yep.
Time
years later.
How does time work? All right. Here's we're almost done with these. How about this one?
Hi, I'm Sheila Farrow, WCAP in Washington, D.C., and this is Judy Rawls. Hi.
Hi.
A lot of highs.
I forgot about even talk about her and her like, I'm going to seductively rub this rose on my face.
I hated that. It also felt like that. It felt like that never went anywhere. There are a lot of chicks in this particular bucket.
There's a lot of chicks in this bucket.
In this turkey bucket.
This turkey bucket.
Love it. It was the bucket of KFC that you ate with the coffee and wine.
Yep.
Apparently.
Here's your Jurassic Park toilet man.
And this is Joseph
Bontempi. Joe Bontempi. Means good time in Italian.
It means good time.
I'm Johnny Good Time.
Johnny Good Times. Bon Tempe. If you don't know any of that, it's Bon Good Tempe.
Stupid.
I like the idea that everywhere they go, they're trying to get attention. They're trying to like get the press. Like they're trying to bring people to their Ren Fair. So they're like putting up little signs on the different telephone posts and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like when these people have something to do, it's the best parts of the movie.
Agree with you. That is exactly my feeling. When they've got stuff to do, they've got a purpose. This is actually kind of a fun follow of this troupe. When they are just sitting around talking nonsense is where they lose me. It's just like, all right, guys, get around.
I like that every day of the, like they did it a couple of times, like at the end of the day where they kind of break out from their role playing and start kind of just becoming humans again. I found those scenes kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it was kind of a good time. It was all right.
Yeah.
Here's something I wrote. It's not okay. I don't remember what this is, so I'll just play it.
It's okay. Don't ask me to say it's okay. It's not okay.
Okay, it's a lot of okays from Ed Harris.
Not okay. Cut off before he started screaming there too. It's not okay.
All right, this one's called Ed Harris Needs to Calm Down. You can imagine what this is. So, apologies. It's 15 seconds long, but this is just about as angry as I've ever seen him. So here you go.
You think the people show up here to buy your goddamn jewelry? Your pots, your corn? Why don't you go sell them in some shopping mall somewhere? I just spent last night in jail with a man who got his head beat in for something he believed in. And if you don't believe it, then get the hell out of here.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So what he's asking there is, why aren't you more angry like me?
Yeah, I appreciate the translation. That is exactly, I think, what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because they were all just like,
I just experienced an atrocity, and you're out here worried about selling corn.
Pots. Corn.
Yeah, and pots.
Yep. And then finally, disgusting greasy pizza man makes a demand.
Shut the door!
Yeah, you don't want to see me in here with Gladys getting all greased up.
Please shut the door.
Yeah. And never,
my pepperonis are
again.
showing.
It was so gross. Oh my gosh. It's one of my least favorite scenes that we've had in the history of Film Sack. It really grossed me out.
I can't think of a time I've seen both nipples and pepperonis at the same time, so it was a little disturbing.
They often don't touch in movies, but they were in this
usually
one.
Don't see them together.
Yeah.
Did you see that Patrick Dempsey movie where all the MILFs are?
Was it Love Boy? What is it? Pizza Boy? What was it?
Boy? No.
That's not right.
Did we see it?
Can't Buy Me Love. No, it's another
Can't
one.
Buy Me. What is it? It's love in the title. Oh, what the hell?
So it's all the MILFs are hiring to or asking to deliver pizza so he can deliver more than pizza. Loverboy.
Did we see that?
No.
Oh.
No.
What did we saw something that Patrick Dempsey was in.
Yeah, that was Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, you're right. That's right.
He went through a time there.
Yeah. But then you found out you could buy love if you were willing to give a big enough tip.
Yeah,
that's right.
He was in that with Kate Walsh. Or Jackson.
That's
sorry.
right.
Kate Jackson. That's what I meant to say.
Kate Jackson. And he was also in this most recent, or like the Dexter origin story that I just watched.
Dexter. Yeah.
Oh, he's the head of the department or something.
Chief of Miami Metro.
Yeah. I like old Patrick Dempsey. I think he's aging like a wine. He looks great. My wife would agree.
Really goofy young, but just right old.
Yeah, something about the old's working out for him. All right, well that's your clips, and now it's time for the Film Sack checklist. This plot is not OSHA approved. Check. Ed Harris's chest is a fire hazard. Check.
Oh, the brush fire that you get from that boy.
Yeah, I know where that hair went, dude. It went right to your chest. And a little bit to the butt crack. He had a little there going on. Anyway, whatever. He's a man. That's what we get.
Decent man.
I think Friar Tuck. I think the Friar Tuck guy is Steve Ballmer. We talked about that earlier. That's the third check.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good observation. I couldn't place it.
Yeah, it was something really weird about him. Star Trek Connections. I couldn't pull one out of the sky here. I don't think Ed Harris has ever done like a role.
Babylon 5 connection at least. Right?
We have two. We have two. So Tuck in this movie was played by John Hostetter. This is the only thing we've ever seen him in. I couldn't even really come up with anything else that I might have seen with him in it. He was in Star Trek Insurrection, the movie. He was one of the officers on the Bolian ship in that movie. Just he was just working, I guess.
Naked eating pizza. Yeah.
So not a big deal there, but I'll tell you what's a big deal, and that's Patricia Tallman, who is Julie in this movie. She is all over Star Trek in the 80s and 90s, and I mean all over it. And I'll tell you why. So she got a few times she got on screen as a bit role, like in an episode of The Next Generation, she was a security officer. In an episode of Deep Space Nine, she played a one-line character named Nima. In an episode of Voyager, she played a one-line character named Operations Division Officer, right?
Oh, my Lord.
But she was a stunt person. Patricia Tallman made her career doing stunts, and specifically stunt doubling Gates McFadden. She has so many credits in The Next Generation and the movie Generations as Gates McFadden's stunt double. And since they had her on retainer, they also let her do stunts for Michelle Forbes in The Next Generation. She did stunts for Deep Space Nine's Louise Fletcher, which I guess that's fine. I can't imagine Kai Wynn doing a stunt, but I mean, maybe she fell down or something. And then she also did stunts for Carolyn Seymour on Voyager. So
damn,
Patricia Tallman.
You know what? Big hats off to her. That's awesome. She kicked ass. We never saw Beverly Hills Cop 2. We only did 3. Did we do 2?
Oh, really?
Fascinating.
Because we did. The reason I'm asking that Hostetter guy, I swore I'd seen him in something else.
I thought we did with the whole Bridget Nielsen.
The only Beverly Hills Cop we've sacked is 3.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised. First of all, let's fix that. Yeah,
sure.
because 2's the good one. I love 2. 3's shit. I can't believe we watched 3.
Yeah.
We didn't do No Way Out with Costner and.
No.
Damn. All right. Well, we have movies we will see him in soon.
For sure. Yeah.
He's dead, by the way. All right. Moving on.
Sure.
Died in 2016. All right, moving on to I'm going to make a comment that's going to sound a little weird.
You know what?
If you're going to die, 2016 was an okay time to go. You missed a lot of bullshit, and it's probably
really did. Yeah,
probably okay if you go before.
Lucky.
That. I know, you lucky bastard, dying in 2016. All right, where are we here? Let's get to the the soundtrack graded, given an SLOT V slot V. Which was sounds like old TV, and it did to me. It just sounded like a TV show in the 80s, and I thought the soundtrack sucked and worked against it. So that's me.
Oh, I thought it was a fantastic score.
You're insane.
This,
but go ahead, convince me. Convince me.
It's Donald Rubinstein music, and I just felt like this movie has no business with this awesome music at times. Like we're just like seeing them walking through the woods or self-flagellating or whatever. And the music was so good. Like it was better than it needed to be for those things.
It's our differences. It's our differences that make us stronger, Randy, you and I, because I could not disagree more on this music. I thought it was horrific. Unless, I mean, if you like that kind of A-team transitional music, that's what this felt like.
I do. Sign me up.
All right. Then you're a good guy. Good news for you. For 2.5 hours.
Guess what?
2.5 hours, you can just eat that shit up.
And the film depicts a person or persons playing music like that you see and hear.
Oh yes, and I love the depiction.
And it has to be like fit into the scene. Yeah. And I thought that was all done really well. The last, the song at the funeral at the end was real good.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
that was all right. But that felt like it's not really a score. Obviously, it's just a dude singing. Do we know who that is?
Dude singing. It was Donald Rubinstein, the composer's music.
Oh, he wrote it. Oh, interesting.
That song.
Okay.
That song is called "I'd Rather Be a Wanderer."
dude is. Do we know him from anything? Ibit, is he a singing type dude that we would know?
That I recognize. No.
Okay. Is he the singing type?
I mean, he's clearly a singing type, but not a singing type that I recognize.
Okay, I thought maybe it'd be like, oh yeah, Mamas and the Papas had him in the background.
Right,
once.
exactly. Yeah, he was a member of such and such, the 5th edition. Unfortunately, yeah.
I thought that was all right. I agree with that. We found common ground. See, this is what's important. If you have differences, you find the common ground. All right. Social media posts. This is where you guys sum this damned thing up in 280 characters or less. Let's start with Randy.
Knightriders. He stands in pond and whips his back. His lady friend wears a dumb crown. He wears tunic made of old sack. They ride a Honda bike to town. A little man holds up some cards. For what? We will not ever know. They break their lances into shards. Like their trumpets, this whole thing blows.
That was actually really good. That was an awesome poem.
Yep.
That was the hell of a structure.
Summed up well.
Yeah, it was really good. Brian Dunaway.
Knightriders, not a movie about multiple Hasselhoffs. # disappointed.
Michael. These motorcycles are stupid, Michael. Brian Ibbett, your turn.
Knightriders. Anyone else really hoping that the lady who got hit by the flying unmanned motorcycle would have turned into a zombie? # missed opportunity.
Man.
X.
Would have been nice to have some Romero-ness in there.
Yeah, just some zombies rambling around in the back.
Yeah, because all his movies do, but this one. But you know what? Also, I'm glad that he got to make a thing that wasn't his usual deal. I think that's fun.
Coming to get you, Friar.
Not coming to get you. All right. Well done on that. Let's get to these alternate titles. These were just handed to me. This movie was almost called Stephen King is Wild for Hoagies. But he wasn't around long enough, so it didn't really make sense for the entire movie. So instead, they went with LARPer's Bazaar. You know, like Harper's Bazaar. But
wow, there you go.
They were LARPing.
A reference even older than Scarborough Fair.
I know. So, I feel like I'm my grandmother's magazine collection. It's all I could come up with.
Thomas Almanac.
That's right. So look at this. We got a voicemail, and I want to play this. This is from, so we have this new thing. I've been talking about all the shows, TMS in particular, but we got this new thing that lets you leave voicemails, and it lets you leave really high-quality ones. You don't have to log in. It's all totally anonymous. You don't have to do anything weird. You just go to voicecast.app/filmsack. This will all be up on our normal site, filmsack.com, so if you forget, it's all there. But voicecast.app/filmsack will let you leave a voicemail like our good pal Icor did about this film. And man, I don't know if I've heard this much passion in 30 seconds before, but here it is.
Hey, Sackers and Sackettes. This is Kevin, aka Icor. I am so happy to see that you are sacking Knightriders. I saw this movie way back in the 80s as a teenager. It was on very late at night, like 1 a.m., but I was into Dungeons & Dragons at the time, so the idea of D&D and motorcycles kept me watching. The combination of sleep deprivation and a weird King Arthur plot kind of blew me away at the time. I tried to remember the movie the next day, but none of it made any sense. Fast forward about 20 years, and I was able to see the movie again and really appreciate it. I hope you all had fun with it. Thanks. Keep on sacking.
That's awesome.
So I need an admission that if you were a teenager and their boobies were a factor.
Yeah. I think that's probably when I saw it was late at night too, because I think I was conflating it with, but yeah, that was probably.
It's definitely like when you turn on HBO and then the opening credits of the film or Cinemax, it's got boobies in the opening credits. It's like, all right, I think I will watch this.
Yeah, I think I'll stick around.
Yeah. I'm in. I'm in.
Even stick around.
Even if you just want a little man cheek, this movie's got you covered with man cheek.
Sure, definitely got you covered.
Oh yeah, nice.
I got you uncovered.
Uncovered, bright white man cheek.
But I don't really remember
that. Has never seen the sun.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't remember the nudity. So maybe I did see it on stereo. Maybe I just had like some edits or something. Because most of them are pretty quick.
Oh, they're very short. You could cut them out. Yeah. None of them lose plot if you cut them out.
No.
Yeah. Anyway,
why are those boobies here?
So we said this before, but it was Kevin who recommended the film for us when we originally had the recommendation. So thank you, Kevin, for that. And also the impassioned, nostalgic walk back through time that you just gave us. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Quotation marks. Thank you, Kevin.
That's
right.
That's right. If you want to leave one like him and you heard how awesome that sounded, that's just using your phone or a desktop. Doesn't matter. It's just a website. It's really, really easy. Voicecast.app/filmsack. Use it today. We got a quick text as well from Alex who says, Alex here. That's how I know it's from Alex.
Yeah.
Are the Black Knight outfits at the end of Knightriders the outfits that were turned down by Kiss when they went without face paint that one time in the 80s? Yeah, we obviously we mentioned it before, but they look just like
Ace Frehley. Yeah.
Ace Frehley, like he has 5 sets behind the stage that he has to use because he sweats through them or whatever.
In case guitar string tears off a pool noodle.
A glitter new poodle.
A glitter covered pool noodle. He's got a spare one back there.
Yeah, they really did have this. They had such a low rent look to them, but I guess that's the point too. Is they're just putting on a show and it's fine.
Yeah,
the movie wasn't trying to impress us. I don't think. Let's get to some Patreon mentions. I want to thank some regulars who are friends of the show at patreon.com/filmsack. People like Larry Owen, Mike Jones, and Greg Friddle. Friddle? I think Friddle.
Mike Jones. Done some 3D printing for Greg Friddle.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know anyone else knew him. That's great. Well, thank you, Greg, on multiple counts for being a rad member of our community here. If you want no commercials ever, pre-show content every week, how about some monthly host specials? How about those? How about art in the mail that I make around movies and stuff and send out directly to your home? How about those? If those sound interesting, patreon.com/filmsack is the place to go, and we would love it if you and your friends joined us if you haven't already. So go check us out, patreon.com/filmsack. Our next movie will be. Oh wait, whose month is it for host?
We got a me and Ibit episode coming soon.
Oh, that's right.
Thursdays. That when we're going to do that.
That's right. Because Sundays is Sunday
a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow is the actual Oscars. I still have 2 movies that I'm trying to watch.
It's exciting.
I have 3 that I
have a
haven't
complex way of watching one of them tonight.
What are your remainers of the group?
Still have Nickel Boys and I'm Still Here.
Gotcha.
No, you are still here.
I'm still here. I'm still here trying to find this movie, some way to watch it.
You guys this.
That's one I need to maybe see in theaters because Nickel Boys I can watch on Plex, but the other one I can't.
Well, you and Randy you're the 2 guys in my life who see more of these than anyone I know, and I just don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you cram them all in.
I gotta tell you, because they're always long and boring.
Well,
it's a labor of love.
It's a labor of love. I don't know if it is after this year.
It's just weird how every year there's movies that are like, oh, this is easy to see. Wicked, Complete Unknown, it's right there. And then there's other movies that are like, how am I going to see this ever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Wicked.
It's impressive. Anyway, so that will be coming up soon. Our next film will be Clash of the Titans 2010. Yeah.
So no Golden Owl.
The one that just be careful what you wish for. But this is the one that I remember seeing in 3D in the theater and saying, wait a minute, there's a guy hiding behind some leaves, but the 3D effect is that his face is in front of the leaves. This is really badly done.
It's the worst 3D effect I had ever seen in the theaters either. It's so bad.
Release the Kraken.
And we've already seen the first one, so don't feel bad. We saw the 1980s one back in 2009, very early in the show's history. So it's time for us to see what the remake tried to do. And it didn't do very well, if I remember. But,
I bet you there's butts. You want to bet there's butts in it?
There's probably some butts.
There's some butts.
I think there were boobs and butts in the first one, and it was PG. This is PG-13. I can't remember. Probably just butts.
And some of the most creepiest stop motion effects in any movie ever.
And the old one? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm curious how this is going to work out.
Have you not seen this new one? Or the newer?
Oh, no. I was waiting on FilmSack.
There's 2 of these. So.
Oh, God.
Not saying we get around to the second one or not. But we'll see how we feel next week. But I remember thinking this was okay because I was. At the time, I didn't see. So I saw it twice. I saw it in 3D in the theaters, and then later on DVD without all that. And I thought it was okay that viewing. So this will be my 3rd watch. Let's see if it's good at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous if I'm honest.
I sense a bit of wow. You watched it. Okay.
But look at his cast. Sam Worthington. I mean, he's fine. But Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes, freaking
great cast. Yeah.
Alexa Davalos, I love her. There's so many cool actors in this. Liam Cunningham, Mads Mikkelsen. What?
Right.
Nicholas Holt. Oh shit. Anyway.
Right.
Oh,
I haven't seen this movie.
Oh, excellent.
Great. So
it came out when I had a tiny little baby, and I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, well, it's now time for you to get around to it, and that'll be next week. It's on Max, by the way, is where we're seeing this, and that's we've been hanging out at Amazon a lot, so it's nice to hop off for a minute. Anyway, that'll be next week. So join us then. In the meantime, filmsack.com is our website. All those new ways of contacting us, plus the old ways, they're all there. Everything, all of it, filmsack.com. And if you'd like to support the show, once again, patreon.com/filmsack. That'll do it for us, for me, for Brian, and for Randy.
I'm going to wipe you out, man.
We'll see you next time.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You're amazing. Want to hear more amazing? Go to frogpants.com for more amazing. It's like a maze of amazing. It's crazazing how amazing. I'm amazed and I'm not phased. Sorry.
Shut the door!
All right, Ed Harris.
Shut the door.